Hello all, welcome to Aware and Awake. And in today's UPSC editorial analysis, there's a very important topic to be analyzed. It's asking if India's forest cover is growing enough or not. And this is given in the editorial itself in today's article. So we'll analyze this particular topic, considering also that if we have any solutions and what are the government initiatives, and also what is the global relevance of this particular topic, and we'll see how it is important and how we can use this particular topic in different aspect of our UPSC. So firstly, in coming to the prelims perspective, it is important for us in both geography and environment. One can ask questions on the forest types, the afforestation initiatives, and what are the India's forest policies. Example, like consider the following statements regarding forest cover in India. They can also ask something related to the data as well. So there can be happening juggling in this aspect. And coming to in current affairs, since it is mentioned in the news, one can ask about the forest cover statistics which are given by different organizations. For example, India's State of Forest Report, and government initiatives also can ask be like Green India Mission or Campa funds, or like whatever highlighted in prelims perspective. If there are any organizations or if there are any global organizations especially giving such kind of reports, like important to note down in the prelims perspective. And apart from prelims, definitely this is very important in mains. Coming to GS1, the topics can be asked regarding the distribution of natural vegetation in India, and especially what is the impact of climate change on forest and how it is very important to be tackled. That kind of analysis like important in our mains perspective. And role of forest in maintaining the biodiversity and ecological balances. So this lie relevant in our GS1, which is the geography section of the syllabus. And also in our GS3, in the environment, ecology and climate change part. We know very well that environment and ecology part is very important in the prelims as well, because we are writing Indian Forest Service as well. So it's very important to analyze this particular topic in this aspect. They can ask you in regarding the sustainable development and what are the conservation strategies done worldwide and the country specific, and also can be asked the different government policies and what are the international commitments per se, like Paris Agreement, Bonn Convention, and what are the challenges regarding that kind of committees established, and different problems associated to the climate change and forest, and especially more important, how can the technology be used in the forest conservation, and how can one can ask that question. India's forest cover is growing but its ecological value is diminishing, so they can ask you to critically analyze this. See, it's a positive statement but tackled with a negative statement, so you need to be able to answer both the aspects and also analyze it in a critical aspect. Second, they can also ask, discuss the role of forest in climate change mitigation and India's commitment to the global agreements. So these are the different ways one can ask the questions in the exam, and that too both prelims and mains. And especially one will forget to associate this particular topic with GS4. They can ask what are the ethical considerations in balancing development versus environmental conservation, and case studies of different aspects of deforestation done in global wise. So that kind of case studies lie important for us to note down in GS4 perspective. So now all set, we'll get into the topic, what is exactly forest cover, what is the stats available with us so far. So forest definitely we know are very critical for our ecological balance, the biodiversity conservation and the climate regulations. And India is aiming to achieve 33% of the tree cover under its National Forest Policy of 1988. And so far, whatever the committed or whatever the commitment is there to restore in hectares wise, it is 26 million hectares. And the carbon sink, they wanted to achieve the carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons, which is equivalent to the global agreement, which is the Paris Agreement. So that means we wanted to align the global values of this particular issue as well. So now whatever the stats available, according to the India State of Forest report, which has been highlighted in 2023, saying that the forest cover approximately is 22% of the geographical area, but our aim is to cover up to 33%. And the tree cover is about 2.9%, which is bringing to approximately just 25%. And how much we have increased so far? 1540 square kilometers have increased from 2019 to 23. And which are the states which are having the highest coverage of the forest is the Madhya Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. And the loss area which has happened in the states are the northeastern states, and especially which is in Nagaland and Mizoram. So this kind of loss is increasing the concerns regarding the dense forest or the high carbon sink capacity which is getting declined. This is a major concern, and the open forest plantations or the tree patches which will lower our ecological value. This particular term, the ecological value, is very important to analyze and to write and mention in the different environmental aspect questions. So what are the challenges for us to achieve? Yes, we have aimed, we do have some kind of a paperwork done, but what are the challenges faced to achieve that? First of all, the major important human tendency for the encroachment and the deforestation. Whichever the infrastructure projects or mining or the urbanization are there, they all led to the forest loss. That means there is a debate of development versus environment. It's a very important topic. Like for the example, in mining in Chhattisgarh and the infrastructure in the Western Ghats have decreased the forest cover so significantly. And the minute topic or minute problem is also the shifting cultivation which is practiced in Northeast. This is also in orderly becoming a reason for the forest degradation. And major important, and we say that people are globalized, not just people are globalized, but every other species is trying to globalize. So invasive species is also kind of becoming a concern. Because of the example, one can be that lantana camera. This reduced the biodiversity and affects the forest regeneration. This kind of invasive plants or also invasive animals are there which are not they don't get accustomed to that particular climate. They inorderly result to the loss. And especially obviously the climate change concern, this will alter the rainfall patterns and increase the temperature so significantly that we have seen 2023 as the most heated year so far. And also there have been type of initiatives done to reduce the temperature. We'll talk about it in the way forward. And policy and governance issues like lack of robust monitoring of CAMPA, which is an important fund associated to this particular topic. There is no proper monitoring. We do not know where are the funds going into. And the improper or the poor implementation of laws like the Forest Rights Act. This is becoming a major concern over tribal rights, whether we have to protect the tribal rights or tackle the forest issues. So this kind of two individual or two ends of the spectrums arise when this kind of problem comes into the picture. So what are the government or what is government initiative doing to orderly protect the forest conservation or to forest growth is, we have a national afforestation program which is focusing on eco-restoration of the degraded forest. It's a very good program, and most importantly we have a Green India mission which is enhancing the ecosystem services and biodiversity. And as mentioned, we also have a CAMPA fund over 50,000 crore embarked for afforestation, and there is also a dedicated organizations associated to this regulation. And national agroforest policy we do have, which is enhancing or which encourages the integration of trees with the agriculture. And most importantly, we also focused on the technological aspects. We have an initiative which uses the GIS and the remote sensing for real-time monitoring. So such kind of initiatives more has to be brought in order to tackle the forest conservation. So are we growing enough? Yeah, we have stats, we have ambitions and all. Now, as in the question asked, we do have to analyze critically as well. So we'll analyze this. What are the growth trends? Though forest cover has increased, most additions are coming just from plantations but not the natural forest. It's like you wanted to tackle a problem A, but you're just showcasing. It's like greenwashing, but not exact greenwashing. It's something like that. Like ecological perspective, whatever the plantation forests are there, they lose the biodiversity. It do not encourage the wildlife to grow over there, and the carbon sequestration potential compared to the natural forest is so low in the plantation aspect. So the loss of natural forest is leading to the reduced ecosystem services like the groundwater recharge and the wildlife habitat. These and many more are called as the ecosystem services, the ecology or the environmental services which has been provided by that environmental source for the humanity. Next, social perspective. Communities who are dependent especially on the forest, they are placing major problems like the displacement and livelihood challenges. So it's very important. It's the humanitarian ground. Right to life and right to livelihood and right to habitat. That kind of questions are arising in the social perspective. So rights of the tribal population under the Forest Rights Act are often overlooked in order to enhance your forest cover. And coming to what is a global comparison, India's forest growth is slower compared to the countries like China, which has aggressively pursued the afforestation projects, which they have named as the Great Green Wall, so that they wanted to tackle desertification. So we are even standing behind China. So what more can be done? First of all, we have to reforestation has to be done and afforestation has to be done. Majorly, whatever afforestation to be done, it has to be in the native species, focusing on the native species instead of the monoculture plantations. And we have to do this implementation on the community based forest management, not like someone who is sitting on the chair above and the ground people, they do not know. No, we have to involve the community as well. And most importantly, for that to happen, we have to do the policy reforms wherein we have to strengthen the laws on deforestation and ensure the stricter penalties, and the use of CAMPA funds has to be more effectively transparent and accountably. And we have to involve more technological aspects. More advanced technologies are in the picture. So we have to use technologies like AI and GIS so that we can monitor and implement whatever the efforts are being made. And also we have to have the global cooperation like the bond challenge and COP agreements, and we have to prioritize whatever the global agreements are done, because we believe that we have the same problems and same responsibilities. And also there is also another saying like different responsibilities but the same problem. So such kind of names come in the picture. For that's why we have to have a global collaboration. And most importantly, as you're engaging the communities, the public participation is also important, because at the local or at the ground level, citizens of the country are there and they will be responsible. So awareness campaigns and the local level initiatives has to be increased more in order to tackle this particular problem. And what are the recent developments? As the famous Miyawaki forest, this is our PYQ asked in our prelims perspective. So such kind of questions and such kind of initiatives lie important to analyze. It's a Japanese technique wherein the urban forest cover will be increasing. Such kind of techniques has to be increased more. And we have to have a green credit program in order to strengthen the Environment Protection Act. And we have to have the carbon market and the carbon market trade and the carbon credits. Such kind of concepts has to be encouraged, and it has been done so far. So ultimately, India has made progress, but to achieve the 33% of the target, we need to have a multi-stakeholder approach wherein we have to involve the stakeholders into this in achieving this particular target and tackle the problem of climate change and increase the forest cover. So this is all about the explanation or the questionnaire which was asked in the editorial. Such kind of analysis will be made in this channel, which is important and which is very relevant to the UPSC perspective. Thank you.